and as I said, I'm head of international trade at Thames Valley Chamber of Commerce. We are the Chamber of Commerce covering Buckinghamshire, Berkshire, Oxfordshire, Heathrow and Swindon. We have a large membership of about 3,000 companies, and we deliver, as well as membership services, trade and inward investment for businesses coming into the UK, but also import and export information. So I just have a couple of housekeeping today. First of all, I will be telling you this webinar is today being recorded. So that will then be issued at a later date for people to view. Also, if you have any questions, please use the question and answer tag on the panel. Just write your questions and we'll have a session for question and answers at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Siddharth. If you'd like to go to the next slide. So
here we go.
There we go. Thank you, Siddharth. Our panelist for today, Siddharth Mukne. Siddharth is an associate director at the UK-India Business Council and is responsible for engaging with companies across the UK with an interest in the Indian market. He's a strong background in business development, project management, account management and operations, as I've worked with multinational engineering and life science companies across Europe and India. Originally from India, where he lived and studied his engineering and international trade management, he also holds an executive MBA and Masters in International Marketing from UK universities. He's organised many roundtables, business clinics, access to India events and webinars across the country to create awareness on the Indian market and the support that UK-India Business Council support across the regions. So without further ado, I will hand you over to Siddharth.
Thank you very much, Anne, for giving me this opportunity. And good morning all who are joined from UK, and good afternoon to who have joined from India. Thank you very much for joining us. So as Anne mentioned about that, I'm going to talk about what's happening in India, as well as overall impact of this. We all sailing through the same situation. So I want to give some kind of overviews about India's perspective. So without further ado, I would like to start from that. Where is India standing at the moment? If you see that the total number of cases are increasing, no doubt. India is now 7th in among the highest number of cases. But if you see the deaths in India is quite low compared to the other countries. Just till yesterday is around 5,500 deaths. And if you see the recovery rate it's quite amazing as well. So almost 200,000 cases, positive cases so far. Out of that, 95,000 have been recovered. So if you see the mortality rate as well, that death per million people, India is very low, considering the population. But yes, it's too early to say that. The things will unfold every day and every month, how the things are progressing. But so far, considering the density and the population, they have managed to quite well to contain the virus impact. So as we know that the virus has given the triple shock to across the globe, and that is demand, supply, and financial. So demand has been reduced, supply chain has been broken, and since the financial support from the businesses has been taken away because there is no sale. So you can see that has impacted the shutdown of factories, impacting raw material flow, higher input prices. If you say that India's import from China has been around 15%, and that is one of the areas as well that India, I will tell you that the recent the announcement what the India has planned for kind of the to help the local companies. For example, in pharmaceutical companies getting the raw material, used to get the raw material from China, and it was completely disrupted. So Indian government is very fast track. They started the factories for the raw material within India. Same thing for the PPE kit as well. So they have started manufacturing within India. So they have taken the actions to mitigate the issues they had before. The abrupt halt of activities across nation has, of course, deeply slowed down the consumption. Things are improving slowly and steadily now. Loss of employment, we all go through that. Every country has gone through that loss of employment. India is not immune. There are almost 24% of unemployment currently, but I'm sure the things will change very soon. Sharp fall in equity market, but I think since recently, last couple of days back, when the government has announced the unlock plan, that the share market has bounced back a little bit. So there's a lot of issue we all across the globe we are facing through. If it's sorry. Okay, so if you see the comparison about the different countries, particularly G20 countries, we know that the all G countries are most of the under into the recession now. But in this scenario, even this the worst scenario, if you see the only two countries are in the positive, the economic growth, GDP growth is positive, China and India. So if you see that comparison, the things, yes, not ideal, but I think is still showing the positivity about the in the market. Uh, India was almost 4.2%, was slow down of in 2019, and about to pick up, but at the same time, this COVID happened, and that GDP has been dropped to 1.9%. But I think the for 2021 is looking quite promising for everyone, but particularly for India and China. You can say India's growth is estimated by IMF is around 7.4%. So this looks quite positive as far as India is concerned. So what is the effect of lockdown in India? As we know that 87% of rural and 53% of urban workers are self-employed, and they are the most vulnerable people in the current situation because they're the unemployment and the pay cuts, because their livelihood is completely depend on their daily wages. So they have been badly affected. Many cities, including the Mumbai, which has got the highest number of the COVID cases at the moment, in India have almost 40 to 60% migrant population. And now, as you know, we have seen in the news that many migrants have left the cities and they went back to their home. They had quite a lot of issues and they have gone through a lot of pain. But it is for any government or any country considering the movement of such a large number is always been difficult. But that has the now the those particular states has now taking the care to how to control the virus spread and disruption to labor market. Now the recent announcement is that the lockdown to continue in containment zone till June 30th. So they say there's not the lockdown, but it's an unlockdown number one. So the now more restrictions on the containment zones, but they are given a free hand to the states to resume normal life outside containment zones. Now the Home Ministry of the has announced the three-phase unlock plan. The phase one, which can see that the religious places, restaurants, and other hospitality services, shopping malls will be open from June 8th. Phase two, schools, colleges will open, but that decision will be taken after considering discussing with the states and union territories, the government. Phase three will be more about the international flights, metro services, cinema hall, gymnasiums, and other things. But that is also, they will assess the situation, and on that basis, the government will take the decision whether they want to open it or not. The interstate and interstate movement of people and goods will be permitted from June 1st, from yesterday. But it's again is depend on also on the state government. Like Delhi has announced that they will close their borders for one more week. So every state is analyzing their situation in their particular region, and they take the action accordingly. So what the Indian government's taken the initiative so far? So for in this scenario, so they have announced two packages so far. So one is that very recently, which everyone was waiting for, almost 216 billion economic package announced on 12th of May, which is around 10% of GDP. The main focus is on self-reliant India. So to build local brands and make them world class. But that doesn't mean that to stop the foreign direct investor. So because I think in this current scenario or not any, because in technology driven economies, no country can work isolatedly. So it will not happen anywhere. I think in the self-reliant India is all about to make India self-sufficient, so they can manufacture the things, world-class product in the within India. So it is good for UK businesses as well. So to identify the quality partner on the ground. So at the same time, if the UK businesses want to do the investment or set up the manufacturing plant, I think this would be the right time because that's the Indian government is looking for. This package also offers for the micro, small, and medium-sized businesses to support them because they are the backbone of Indian economy. So through this the package, they have announced different subsidy and loans to those companies. The previous package was more to support to unskilled laborers, to provide the food and the gas, cooking gas to poor. Same time, Reserve Bank of India had also announced the stimulus. So in fact, they have gone further as well. So like they have reduced the repo rate to 4.4%, which is the lowest after the 2008 economic crisis. That time it was around 4.75. So they have gone reduced those rates as well to lending the money to the banks in India. So there are many action has been taken so far. If obviously the deadline for the filing income tax return has been increased for financial year 18-19 or 2021. GST return again, the goods and service tax bill return has been also extended. They have increased the threshold of the insolvency and bankruptcy code. So there's a lot of the initiatives has been taken so far. So we'll see how that will have the impact on the economy. What would be the possible long-term effect? I just thought about this, and I think that these are the areas which I think that's my perspective about this one. I think the diversification of value chain because of US-China trade war is still going on. It is not ended yet, and the COVID-19. So I think now the companies or businesses will look for the different options, not to keep all the eggs in one basket. Rather than they will look for the different options as well. And I think India has a really great chance in this scenario to look the very positive or the businesses to engage with this the promising market. The unconventional fiscal and monetary policies to continue in different economies. So as I already explained to you that India has announced quite a few stimulus and the package in recent times, and I think same in UK and the US. So I think it is very difficult to wind down such policies. So it will sustain for some long time. Of course, this scenario has they hampered the confidence in the business and the investment sentiments. But it's obvious. But I think the things will change drastically once the things we'll see the things are settling down. And I see that there's a slowly and steadily they're settling down now. I think the more focus will be on healthcare's infrastructure. And I think this is the right time for India as well, because honestly speaking, India didn't give much attention to the healthcare infrastructure so far. If you see the spending of is not even the 1% of GDP, and I think this now we given the great opportunity for India to concentrate on look after the healthcare sector, which is already a huge market in India. It's around 110 billion on worth of market, healthcare market, and I think this I see that there is a great opportunity in this sector. We have been always been considered as inventory is kind of waste, but we have realized that now we need to have some kind of inventory to meet the requirement. So I think there's some way the businesses will move out away from zero inventory approach, and they will start keeping some inventory. So I think that, and the most important aspect, the things will change happen is that the businesses will focus on resilience. So the flexibility is the key thing will happen, and is required as well during this situation. And in India, anyway, the flexibility is always needed. Because it's all about what India need rather than what you have. And now you need to have more, need to adopt more flexibility to engage with Indian market. So we have seen this, what your government of India has taken the initiatives. Now what UKIBC as the UK India Business Council, we are taking an initiative to support the businesses. We do understand that there are a lot of the businesses don't know what's happening around. They need to get up to date knowledge as well. Same as the government of India and UK as well. They also want to know what the business think about it. So we are continuously engaged with the government of India, UK government, and the businesses to understand and passing on the information. And in fact, we prepared the report to the and so submitted to the government of India and about the concerns and the issues about the UK businesses. So we are doing regularly updating the things. We are talking to our members, we are talking to other businesses, and get the input and just passing on that information to respective governments. Again, now we all know the Joint Economic Trade Committee, the events happening every year. In Delhi and London. Now this year also we are planning with the Department for International Trade to organizing the JETCO event very soon, but it will be more with a different platform. So these are the only few engagement what we have done so far, but I think it's an endless list. I just picked only few of them. So we have engaged with the Indian High Commissioner. We have jointly written a letter with the CBI and BBG, British Business Group. So then we have written to the Finance Minister, and there's a lot of engagement and going on the from policy side, from UKIBC working hard, and all our staff on the ground in India and UK are working the day in and day out to support the businesses and give the up-to-date information, and same time giving to the government as well. So the other area which we are working very understand and working on, and we have prepared the flexibility for the businesses for the advisory side. So we have understood, and we, after discussing with the businesses, what are their challenges while dealing with any market. So one thing their focus is now is on their own company. They want to on preserving their existing business first. The new market entry and expansion plan on hold for most of the companies. Obviously, that then the key challenge to deal is a key business continuity risk. So they're mitigating that risk as well, and tight control on cash flow. So they have to work carefully that when they are looking for exporting the product or looking for any international market. So they have to need to get the confidence and need to get the support if they want to engage with the to other international market like India. So we know that they have got the interest. They have the companies, UK companies want to engage with India, but there are certain constraints. That's why they are not ready to engage with the market. So we have come out with a new approach to advisory, and we have supported with these to the businesses in the 4 parts. One is the diagnostic, just to understand their options, what their options are, where they are at the moment, what are the issues, and what are the options. So we can just evaluate their options and understand what they need from us. Then we assess those options that and discuss with them and assess that which are and measure which is the practically possible according to the situation. Then we try to mitigate these options and to decide the priority that which is the first priority and second priority, and then we work with them. And of course, there's a continuity issue as well. So we can develop the map to a way ahead, so how they can move forward. So there's already the UK India Business Council is providing the kind of bespoke support to the businesses, but we have now gone step further and first from the discussing with the businesses before deciding that what the support they are looking from us. So a lot of the if you have got any issues, if you have got any concerns, or you want any more information, please feel free to contact us, and we'll be more than happy to guide you through after setting up a video call or the conference call. So before this COVID, which were the rising sectors in India, and where do they stand at this stage? So I've just picked a few the sectors in that sense. Is that first is the food and drink. So as we know that in this sector will always grow because the almost population is such high. The market size is around 308 billion and is growing by 20%. So the lot of the huge potential for the sectors in India. Then another is advanced manufacturing. So again, that the India the initiative will be also very much supporting this advanced manufacturing sector. And particularly if you go through that in subsectors, you can say automotive, aerospace, defense, and pharmaceuticals are the key sectors to look at. So they were quite rising sectors in India, but I see that these sectors will continue to rise after this situation as well. Of course, the priority will change slightly. Healthcare, as I already told you, that is a huge sector. And now, current situation, I think the more attention will go to the healthcare sector, and the growth will be phenomenal in this sector. Energy and sustainability, which India is already the world's third largest consumer of energy, and their demand will grow. So I don't see any change in this sector as well. It will continue to grow, and the government, even the Maharashtra government as well, recently announced that they welcome the foreign direct investor, but they're looking for the environment-friendly businesses to come to the states. So there is a the desire to attract the foreign direct investor, but I think the environment-friendly businesses could be the priority. Other than the education, yes, now at the moment the students can't come. In fact, the last year, after the government announced the post-graduation visa, approval, then the number of students coming to UK increased significantly, almost threefold only last year, and suddenly this COVID situation happened. But I think now the universities are also adopting the new platform to engage with the student, and I think that they will have the new avenue to engage with Indian students. So I think this education sector will always grow. How it will grow and which are the new and how these universities become more creative, universities or colleges, is all depend upon that how they will attract the students from India. But this sector is also is always been on the top list, and it will continue to do so. So these are the few points from me about what's happening in India. I just wanted to give the snapshot to you. So I'd like to hand over to Anne to talk about the Thames Valley Chambers.
Thank you very much. Somebody's already asked if we can get a copy of the presentation. Yes, that will be sent out to you after the webinar. We'll send a copy of the presentation in PDF format to everybody so they can got the details and the contact numbers. Questions. Siddharth, before we move on, I've actually got a few questions that have come from our companies who are looking to or trying to get into the Indian market. What would you say were the best first steps to do? I mean, some people say it's a difficult market. I know it's a market where you have to know the people and look into and do due diligence. What is the best route for somebody who's new into the Indian market for the UK company?
Yeah, thank you. And I think that is always because India is such a huge and diverse market. It is an easy place to get lost. So it is always good to have the structural approach when you are trying to enter into this market. The first step is to kind of have a helicopter view, how this market looked for your product perspective, your product or service perspective, and then analyze that within India, which are the key regions you got an opportunity to work with. So just narrow down the opportunities and then concentrate in that area. That would be the first step, and that's why the market feasibility study is very important, which could act as a blueprint for the businesses to understand the market, not only about where the region is, but how to position their product, how is the taxation, regulation, what is the competitive landscape there, what is the price they can get from that market. So first step would be to understand the market before jumping into it.
Wonderful. Another question that's come in the light of obviously the UK leaving the European Union, and obviously at the end of transition where we lose all the access to European Union free trade agreements, and we're free to have free trade agreements with other countries. How do you see that panning out in regards to India? I mean, are there plans, have discussions started or anything like that? Are you aware?
This discussion is going for a long time, honestly speaking, and so we're not sure at where the India stand and what is the status of that free trade agreement at the moment. But I think the engagement is continuously growing on. But I think this scenario, I think it will take a bit delayed further. But no, I think we don't have any concrete answer on that basis that when it will happen. But I would say that because now India-UK relation become more stronger than before, I think I could see the positive news somewhere very soon.
Okay, so another question. Obviously, the services available via UK India Business Council. You've mentioned the new services. Somebody's just asking, how do they access those services?
So yeah, you can access through our website, or you can approach us. I've already given my email address, so you can write to me, and I will be glad to talk to you and connect you to the right people in the organization.
I think that, I mean, there's not a huge amount of questions coming in. I think your presentation is very comprehensive, and it does cover a lot of issues. There's a key number of sectors. For us as a Chamber of Commerce, we have a lot of companies that deal with India, and you've mentioned quite a lot of the things. In the light of the, obviously the COVID pandemic that we're in at this present, where do you think that we will be this time next year? I know it's the, that ever-ending question, but yeah. Where do you think we'll be this time next year in relation to trade, and especially trade with India?
I think we will grow because everybody will be more charged to engage. And as I mentioned earlier, that now the company, the businesses already engaged with other countries. They would like to diversify their business as well. So I think India has could see the huge opportunity to invite those businesses, and UK businesses always we have got a long relationship, so I think I see the much more the trade between UK and India by early next year for sure.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for that, Siddharth. I will say that we will be doing more with the UK India Business Council as we move forward for the rest of this year and into next. So for us as a Chamber of Commerce, we see it's a good partner relationship to have, and I would encourage people to use their services and to make contact with Siddharth, because they are very good, and every question we've had from our members and services trade service customers they've been able to help where help's been required. So thank you, Siddharth. I'm just going to actually do a little bit of mention for the Chamber of Commerce. I have to do the odd blatant plug. So Thames Valley Chamber of Commerce, as I said, we're one of the regional chambers within the UK, and we have a website. Can't get my screen to work. We have a Thames Valley Chamber of Commerce COVID-19 portal. If any businesses want to access that, it is free. It's a good one-stop shop place to go to access all the latest information and everything that's required. But we are here also to help UK businesses and businesses in the Thames Valley in particular to have that direct contact with government on particular issues. We're an apolitical organisation. We are a membership organisation, but we do a lot of stuff for non-members as well. But we are here to help Thames Valley businesses, and I would encourage you, if you've got any issues, any concerns, please do get in touch with the Chamber of Commerce, Thames Valley, or if you're not in the Thames Valley, your local chamber, and actually ask them to represent your views. We're looking for businesses who we want to represent what's the best in the Thames Valley. We are a global region. The Thames Valley is a global region. We are home to hundreds of the top corporate names in the world, but we are here to access and help businesses from the one-man band through to the big multinational. So if you haven't heard of the Chamber of Commerce before, or you don't know what services are available, please do go onto our website, thamesvalley.co.uk, and you'll find out more. So I'd like to thank you all today. That brings the webinar to a close. I'd like to thank you, and as I said, the presentation will be sent out to everyone by email. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.